Honeybee facts. Here are lots of honeybee facts, including quick snippets of information to get you started. General facts, scientific research, historical points of interest plus a couple of quirky facts about honeybees. The honeybee is one of the most scientifically studied creatures in the world after man. The honeybee is also known as Apis mellifera. Apis is a very old word, probably with Egyptian roots, but is also related to the Greek word for swarm. Mellifera means honey bearing in Latin. A single bee weighs 0.00025 pounds. 4,000 bees together weigh only 1 pound. Each of our hives has 50,000 bees, weighing 12 pounds together. Bees can fly up to 12 miles per hour. On every foraging trip, a bee will visit 5,100 flowers to collect nectar. Bees heat and cool their own hive to keep it between 93 and 95 degrees year-round. Bees are cold-blooded and must keep their hive at a constant temperature in cold weather. Bees keep the hive warm by swarming together to generate body heat and by sealing cracks in the hive with propolis. In warm weather, the bees collect water and line up in a circle around the hive entrance. Using their wings, the bees fan the water so that it evaporates into the air. They then fan the cool air so that it circulates around the hive as a sort of central air conditioning. A queen bee will lay 800,000 eggs in her lifetime. The queen's life is dedicated to reproduction and she only leaves the hive once in her life in order to mate. Bees are remarkably tidy. Bees are very meticulous. They groom each other and keep their hive incredibly clean. The hexagonal shape of the honeycomb is the most efficient shape in our world. The pattern allows for the cells to be packed with no empty space in between. Though the wax is thin and delicate, the structure of the hexagonal cells can hold a tremendous amount of weight. Bees communicate by dancing. Bees are known to raid other hives and steal honey. Bees rob honey from other bees if honey from another hive is available. Say, if a beekeeper leaves a hive open, or if times are lean. However, if a guard bee from the robbed hive catches an interloper, detecting the foreign smell of the intruder, the two will engage in battle, stinging to the death. If the robber makes it into the hive unnoticed, she will gain the scent of the hive and learn the entrance well enough that she can come in and out without being detected as an intruder. A bee's diet consists of honey and pollen. Honey and pollen are the building blocks of a bee's diet. Bees eat honey because it provides them with energy-laden carbohydrates. while pollen's protein provides bees with essential amino acids. But the queen's diet is richer in honey, which gives her fertility. The queen's staple food is a special honey and pollen mixture called royal jelly. Royal jelly contains more pollen and honey than larval jelly. The food eaten by worker and drone bees. The phrase "you are what you eat" is especially fitting here, since the queen would be infertile and indistinguishable from smaller worker bees if it weren't for the added carbohydrates in royal jelly. Male bees in the hive are called drones. Drones, male honeybees, die after mating. Poor things. Bees have 5 eyes. Bees are insects, so they have 6 legs. A queen is the largest bee in the hive. She can lay up to 2,000 eggs per day. Twice her own body weight per day. Female bees in the hive, except the queen, are called worker bees. Losing its stinger will cause a bee to die. Bees carry pollen on their hind legs in a pollen basket or corbicula. Per capita honey consumption in the US is 1.3 pounds. Bees have 2 pairs of wings. The principal form of communication among honeybees is through chemicals called pheromones. Bees are important because they pollinate approximately 130 agricultural crops in the US, including fruit, fiber, nut, and vegetable crops. Bee pollination adds approximately $14 billion annually to improved crop yield and quality. Bees have been producing honey for at least 150 million years. A cave painting depicting an androgynous figure robbing honey out of the hive was found in the cave of the spider in Valencia, Spain. It is estimated to be 15,000 years old. Honey stored in airtight containers never spoils. Sealed honey vats found in King Tut's tomb still contained edible honey, despite over 2,000 years beneath the sand. Bees have to fly over 55,000 miles to make 1 pound of honey. Worker honeybees are all females. Males do not know how to even feed themselves. Worker honeybees are all females. Males do not know how to even feed themselves. And their only reason for being in the hive is for reproducing with the queen. The males do not have a stinger, and they are kicked out of the hive in the autumn because there are no uses for them. Honeybees are very clean out. They want their hive, which they made themselves, hexagon by hexagon, to be immaculately clean. If something dirties their hive, they will immediately get the offense out. The only honeybee in the hive that uses the bathroom inside the hive is the queen. Queen bee never leaves the hive. so her faithful workers get her mess right out. Bees will also make sure that when their time comes, they will die outside of the hive. There is only one queen per hive. The queen lives 2-3 years. The queen is made, rather than born. Worker bees will feed larvae royal jelly for a certain period of time. The royal jelly is secreted through the heads of the worker bees and is fed through their antennas to the larvae. The royal jelly has so many vitamins and nutrients it will allow for the larvae to become queens. Since there can only be one queen per hive, the potential queen bees will fight to the death until there is one queen remaining. Honeybees, like their name implies, are the only insects to make honey. Bumblebees make a honey-like substance, but it tastes nothing like the sweet honey. We know and love. They also make this in very small quantities. Honeybees though make honey in surplus, so beekeepers are able to take a certain amount, without hurting the bees or depriving them of food. Honeybees never sleep. No wonder worker bees have such a short lifespan. Honeybees are the only insects that produce something that humans eat. It is also the only food that never goes bad. Its sugar content is too high, and because it is naturally antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial, anti-everything nasty, which is why it's also such an incredible healer. The honeybee colonies each have a distinct odor, which allows for them to identify the members. Oftentimes beekeepers will need to assimilate colonies. A way to do that would be to place bees from each colony into a paper bag together. The paper bag should have a divider, so each colony stays in its own side. Being in the container together, the smells will mix and they will not be able to recognize the other bees as enemies due to their familiar odor. The queen bee lays up to 2,000 eggs per day. She can also select the gender of the larvae. Most larvae that will be produced will be female. To make 1 pound of honey it would take 556 workers and 2 million flowers. During one collection trip, about 1 ounce of honey is all it takes to give a honeybee enough energy to fly around the world. Although the farthest they usually fly away from their hive is 6 miles. Honey never spoils. No need to refrigerate it. It can be stored and opened indefinitely at room temperature in a dry cupboard due to the high level of fructose. Honey is 25% sweeter than table sugar. Honey is created when bees mix plant nectar, a sweet substance secreted by flowers, with their own bee enzymes. To make honey, bees drop the collected nectar into the honeycomb and then evaporate it by fanning their wings. Honey has different flavors and colors, depending on the location and kinds of flowers the bees visit. Climatic conditions of the area also influence its flavor and color. To keep their hives strong, beekeepers must place them in locations that will provide abundant nectar sources as well as water. Honeybees are one of science's great mysteries because they have remained unchanged for 20 million years, even though the world changed around them. The honeybee's wings stroke 11,400 times per minute. thus making their distinctive buzz. In the cold winter months, bees will leave the hive only to take a short cleansing flight. Honeybees do not die out over the winter, but reduce numbers by throwing out the old, the weak, and drones. A tight cluster in their hive to keep the queen and themselves warm. They feed on the honey they collected during the warmer months and patiently wait for spring by forming. They may forage on sunny days and collect nectar, and some queens will lay, but less. There are nurse bees work inside the hive. Their job is to make royal jelly, feed and clean the larvae, queen, and drones. House bees clean away the dead, make wax and comb, heat cool the hive, receive nectar and make honey, put it into the comb, sealing it with wax. On average, one bee colony can produce up to 150 kilograms of honey per year. At the peak of the honey gathering season, a strong, healthy hive will have a population of approximately 50,000 bees. Honey is the primary food source for the bee. The reason honeybees are so busy collecting nectar from flowers and blossoms is to make sufficient food stores for their colony over the winter months. Honey contains vitamins and antioxidants, but is fat-free, cholesterol-free and sodium-free. If you are not a spinach lover, eat honey. It has similar levels of heart-healthy antioxidants. One powerful antioxidant called pinosembrine is only found in honey and propolis. For years, opera singers have used honey to boost their energy and soothe their throats before performances. Honey has the ability to attract and absorb moisture, which makes it remarkably soothing for minor burns and helps to prevent scarring. Honey speeds the healing of open wounds and also combats infection. Honey and beeswax form the basics of many skin creams, lipsticks, and hand lotions. Queen Anne of England, in the early 1700s, invented a honey and olive oil preparation to keep her hair healthy and lustrous. Beeswax is made from tiny glands on the worker bees. The males, drones, are not able to sting, but if you are stung it will probably be by a worker. Queen honeybees can sting, but they remain close to the hive. Male honeybees from a honeybee queen would be very rare. No father, but they do have a grandfather. If the queen honeybee is removed from the hive, within 15 minutes, the rest of the colony knows about it. Beekeepers have devised various means to estimate the number of bees in a hive. In any case, typical active honeybee colony may have around 50,000 workers, but could have between 20,000 and 60,000 workers. The queen honeybee is larger than the bees in the colony. It is about twice the length of a worker. The antennae on honeybees are very sensitive and important for tasting things. The tips of the antennae have more than 300 taste sensors. Honeybees belong to the insect order Hymenoptera, which they share with other bees, wasps, ants and sawflies. Scent is important for bees. A study has found that bees are better at learning new odors, smells, in the morning. Honeybees eat nectar and pollen. But there are times when food is scarce, and they may eat insect secretions. They are also known to eat a little fruit, such as plums and grapes. The waggle dance or honeybee dance enables worker honeybees to inform her sisters about great locations of food and water, or a new home, like other bees. Honeybees cannot see the color red. However, they may visit red flowers because they are able to see the UV patterns in the flowers. As with other types of bees, honeybees have 5 eyes, 3 simple eyes on top of its head, and 2 compound eyes. With numerous hexagonal facets. Ever wondered whether honeybees poop? Yes, they do. Honeybee activity is dependent on temperature, rather than the seasons, as is the case with other bee species. The honeybee's brain is about the size of a tiny grain of sugar, but researchers have found that it is surprisingly sophisticated. Specifically, honeybees can understand conceptual relationships such as same, different, and above, below that rely on relationships between objects, rather than simply the physical features of objects. Scientists have discovered that honeybees are able to vote when making decisions about where the colony should create a new nest site. Female scout bees fly out to look for potential sites and report back to the colony, using the famous waggle dance to inform the rest of the colony about the location of the nest. And the better the potential site, the more enthusiastically the scout bee dances. If other worker bees like the potential nest site, they begin imitating the dance, until eventually a critical mass has been achieved, with enough worker bees in agreement about the new nest site such that a decision is made. Bee populations in the United States are declining at a rapid, unprecedented rate since 2006. Commercial beekeepers in the United States have reported honeybee colony loss rates averaging 30% each winter, startling when compared to historical loss rates of 10 to 15%.